Today we're going to talk about taxonomy, the classification of living things. Now, taxonomy is the science of classifying and naming living things. This is a cladogram. Each split in the cladogram is showing how another species evolved. So the first thing to evolve was a hagfish, which did not have jaws. After jaws developed, came perch and everything else. So anything on this line, like jaws or lungs, everything after that contains that element. So if we looked at this pigeon, we can assume that it has claws or nails, lungs, and jaws. So how are living things classified? Carolus Linnaeus, who lived from 1707 to 1778, was a Swedish botanist who developed a system called binomial nomenclature. Now look at these words. Bi means two, and nomenclature is a system of naming, so this is a two-part naming system. In this system, each species is assigned a two-part scientific name. This system includes 7 levels, or taxa. These levels are kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Now the way that I used to remember this in school was King Philip came over for grape soda. I don't know if I would really give King Philip grape soda if he came over, but that's how I remember them. Now these are some specific examples. Let's look at this beaver. Beaver is the common name. Now the most general aspect of the beaver is in the kingdom Animalia. It's in the phylum Chordata, it's in the class Mammalia, which means it's a mammal, order Rodentia, it's a rodent, family Castoridae, and its genus and species Castor canadensis. So why is it important for scientists to have a universal classification and naming system? Well, take a look at this picture. You would know it as a lion. Its scientific name is Panthera leo. Why should we call it Panthera leo instead of a lion? Well, here's why. In all these different countries, these are the names for the lion. So if you went to Sweden and said lion, they might not know what you were talking about. But if you said the scientific name, they would recognize that as a lion. So it's to avoid confusion caused by the use of common names, language barriers, and cultural barriers. I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, on the Gulf Coast. Now let's see an example of why using common names to describe animals can be confusing. This poster is called Common Sport Fishes of the Texas Coast. As you can see, each fish is listed first by a common name. Like this one is called a mutton snapper. Underneath mutton snapper, you see its scientific name, and you see other names, muttonfish and pargo. Now why does this fish have so many names? In different areas, people might call the same exact fish by different names. Now let me give you an example. If you asked me if I had ever caught a southern kingfish, I wouldn't know what kind of fish you were talking about. But if you had called it a whiting, the common name that I've always learned, I would know exactly what fish you were talking about. The only way to avoid confusion is if we would have both known the scientific name, Mentosirus americanus. Thanks, Linnaeus! Now these taxa, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species, go from the broadest, most general, to the most specific. So in this example, we're looking at humans. They're in the kingdom Animalia, we are animals, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primate, family Hominidae, genus Homo, and species Sapiens. So our scientific name is Homo sapiens. So according to Linnaeus' system, every species has a Latin scientific name composed of the genus and species names. The first letter of the genus is always capitalized, but the first letter of the species is lowercase. That will never change. The entire scientific name is italicized or underlined. So as you can see in these, the first word, which is the genus, is capitalized, and the second word, the scientific name, is lowercase. See? And these are italicized, so that's why they're not underlined. In these examples, such as human, cat, lion, and dog, you can again see their entire classification, and at the bottom is their genus and species. So looking at these, which two organisms are the most closely related? Pause the video and see if you can figure it out. Now the two most closely related are the cat and the lion. How did we know that? As we go down the line, all of them are in the same kingdom, they're all in the same phylum, and all the same class, but they differ when we get to the order. So now these three are in carnivora, this one is a primate, so we've narrowed it down to cat, lion, and dog. Going further, only cat and lion are both in the same family, Felidae. So we know that cats and lions are more closely related than any of the other ones. Now, which organism is least similar to the others? Pause your video and try to figure it out. The human is least similar to the others because we differed when we got to order. We were not in carnivora. Now, what is the scientific name for a cat, a dog, and a lion? Find the scientific name from the genus and species. There you go. Quick review. Answer the questions below. Define prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Pause the video and make sure you can define these. Pro means no nucleus, and euc means a nucleus, so prokaryotic do not have a nucleus. Define autotroph and heterotroph. Auto make their own food, and hetero eat other things. Autotrophs are plants, they create their own food. Heterotrophs are animals that have to eat other things. Multicellular and unicellular. Uni means one cell, you need a microscope to see it. Multi means many cells, and they can be seen with the naked eye. Great!